Hey guys, and welcome. Today was for a bit of a dry spot within gaming in January, and mostly new releases coming out towards the end of the month. I'm looking for some cooler things within the God of War universe that we can revisit and kind of go back to telling some lore stories, because I do miss them a little bit. I have a really cool topic to talk about today, one that I thought that would be a really interesting one, and that's around the Mjolnir. The Mjolnir is of course the hammer wielded by Thor, gifted to him by Brock and Sindri, and is the reason that Thor is so powerful and so feared. Today I wanted to discuss how the Mjolnir was created in-game within mythology as well, how it was so powerful, and how the creation of this weapon led to the downfall and the demise of the giants. Now I have plans to make another video, almost like a two-parter of this little series, but the next will be on the Leviathan Axe, the only weapon in the God of War universe that can rival the Mjolnir and create that majestic frozen lightning bolt. That will be a really cool video, so let me know down below if you're open to seeing that and if you'd want me to do that video as well. It's like a little two-parter here until before the release of any new games coming in January, so let me know below. But consider clicking that like button, it really helps the channel out in this dry spell, and also when I subscribe to the channel as well for so much content coming this year. It's actually going to be a disgusting amount of content on the channel, and I'm just preparing myself right now in this dry spot and psyching myself up to be able to do that consistently. So it'd be very much appreciated if you guys could show your support on the channel as well. But without further ado everyone, let's dive straight in. So let's start up with the mythological lore behind the Mjolnir, and then go on to how Santa Monica have slightly changed things to implement it into the God of War universe. It's a really interesting thing to look and to read and to see how Santa Monica have kind of tailored that actual mythological lore into the God of War universe and made it fit really nicely. So let's get into it. Mjolnir is the hammer of Thor, the Aesir god associated with thunder. Mjolnir is depicted in Norse mythology as one of the most fearsome and powerful weapons in existence, capable of even levelling mountains. In its account of Norse mythology, the hammer's characteristics of a short handle was mentioned to be caused because of a mistake during its manufacture. The mistake was caused by Loki, in disguise as a fly, biting Brock on the eyelid during the hammer's creation, which caused the dwarf to briefly stop working the bellows of the forge in order to wipe the blood out of his eye, which caused the hammer to not come out as perfect, therefore wouldn't be as good as the other gifts he commissioned for the Aesirs for the sons of Ivaldi. Loki did this in an effort to win the wager he made with Brock, and also Sindri, that stated that they could take his head if their gifts were deemed better than the sons of Ivaldi's by the other gods, but if they weren't, they would leave with nothing. Along with the hammer though, Thor was also given an extremely powerful belt to increase his strength, and a pair of gauntlets to allow him to handle the Mjolnir's power. Now that we've got the actual mythology side of things out of the way, let's get on to the God of War side of things, exactly how it was changed within God of War and how it was depicted throughout that lore. So listen to it and listen to the similarities. Sindri, along with his brother Brock, began as relatively unknown blacksmiths who originated from Svartalfheim and were eager to make a name for themselves in the world. In order to achieve the fame that they desired, Sindri had an idea to forge a weapon for the Aesir thunder god Thor, a lightning hammer named Mjolnir. Both dwarves set about making the hammer, with Sindri notably outdoing himself in an effort to impress Odin. They later presented the weapon to Thor, who eagerly accepted it, earning them the respect and the fame that they had wanted across the 9 realms. However, after seeing Thor use the hammer to cause pure destruction and devastation over the course of 30 years, Sindri and Brock suffered a profound sense of guilt. This caused a rift between the two of them, with Brock openly blaming his brother as being the one to outdo himself with the creation of the hammer in order to impress the king of the Aesir. Sindri, however, told Brock that they had a duty to restore balance to the realms, and asked if his brother was going to join him in fulfilling this duty. Over the next 2 weeks, the brothers set about forging the Leviathan Axe in an effort to create a rival for the Mjolnir. However, on the 15th day of forging, as the brothers neared the end of the work, a spider crawled up Brock's leg as he was working the forge and bit him on the thigh, as revenge for Brock killing one of its kins earlier by squashing it under his boot. Sindri rushed to catch his brother as Brock quickly died from the potent venom delivered by the bite, knowing that the only way to bring his brother back to life was a journey to the realm of Alfheim and stop his brother from sinking through the Lake of Souls into Helheim, where it would be lost forever. Sindri quickly put Brock's body onto a cart and journeyed him into the realms of the elves. Arriving in the Lake of Souls with his brother in tow, Sindri removed one of his brother's smithing gloves and placed it over his own hand. Something he knew was necessary if he was going to stop his brother from permanently passing on, as a dwarf's smithing gloves were sacred. After remarking that dwarves belonged underground, not underwater, Sindri dived into the black water of the Lake of Souls, noticing the submerged souls beginning to dim as he descended deeper into the lake on their final journey to Helheim. Feeling drawn to a pale blue wisp, Sindri began swimming towards it. However, a hand reached up from the depths below and grabbed his ankle. Twisting around, Sindri could see hundreds of decayed corpses buried in the sands at the bottom of the lake, with their arms flailing in the water, with one of them grasping his ankle in an effort to pull him down to them. Unsheathing a dagger, Sindri quickly slashed the decayed bony arm, gripping his ankle, and kicked the corpse in the face, propelling him forward towards the pale blue whisper. Reaching out with his gloved hand, Sindri grasped the wisp, which sent out an explosion of blue light, which blasted back the encroaching dead at the bottom of the lake, allowing Sindri to escape to the surface. After Sindri emerged from the lake, he crawled to the shore and began vomiting a thick black liquid from his lungs. The dwarf noted that he felt cold. Itch spread over his body, feeling as if thousands of tiny insects were infesting his skin and the dead was still crawling at him. This caused Sindri to repeatedly scratch deeply into his skin before passing out. Waking sometime later, Sindri felt dazed but summoned the energy to crawl over to the cart containing Brock's now sickly ashened blue body. Removing his brother's smithing glove, Sindri placed his hand on Brock's chest and could feel the faint pulse of a slow heartbeat. Knowing he saved his brother, Sindri decided not to tell Brock what had happened once he had eventually woken up, noting that the journey he had taken would be the burden to bear, not his brother's. However, Sindri was noticeably affected by the events, which was later noticed by Brock after he woken up, as a persistent twitch on his brother's face. He finally finished their work on the Leviathan Axe. Sindri and Brock were sought out by Laufey, who is Thay. Knowing that Thay was the last guardian of the Jotnar left in Midgard and a good person in general, they gifted her the axe in an effort to restore balance to all of the realms. However, despite all of this, the rift between the two brothers regarding their guilt over destruction caused by Thor with the hammer had not been solved, and eventually the two of them decided they could no longer work together anymore, with each taking half of the original smithing brand and going their separate ways. At one point, the giant Thyrim managed to steal the hammer from Thor whilst he was sleeping. Thyrim wasn't really one to think with his head, and he held it for ransom in exchange for having Freya as his bride. Odin saw this as an opportunity to infiltrate Jotunheim, and coerced Freya to conceal Thor using her magic, allowing him to join Freya at the wedding feast. Once the Mjolnir was presented at the party, Thor revealed himself, took it back, and wasted no time in smashing Thyrim's head in. He proceeded to kill any giants he could find until Freya cast both herself and Thor back to Asgard, much to the ear of Odin. The lore behind the Mjolnir is extremely interesting because it really wasn't something that was intended to be given to Thor to cause destruction, but more of a reason for two younger brothers to become famous in a sense and to have their massive skills as blacksmiths pushed out there to the different Aesir gods, and to get them a bit more known throughout these realms too. Their excellent craftsmanship and desire for fame, of course all in goodwill at the start, but it took a turn for the worst, and it almost caused the giants to become completely extinct. This was not the goal at the beginning, of course, because Brock and Sindri are very lovable characters and they want nothing but good in the realms. That is, of course, why they helped with the rebellion and pointed the likes of Faye towards Durlin to start this rebellion within Svartalfheim. But guys, what do you think down below? As I mentioned, the Mjolnir is a really cool design. It's a really interesting thing to read about within Norse mythology as to why it was created, who created it, and the overall bad that it's done within Norse mythology. But it's also really interesting to see how Santa Monica have taken that Norse mythology and sort of tailored it to fit within the God of War universe. I think they've done a really, really good job with it, and it's a really interesting thing to have a read and to go through. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, everyone. I'm going to do a second video on the Leviathan Axe. Let me know what you guys think about that if you want to see it. I think it'd be a really cool little short two-parter to do on the channel, and yeah, just waiting for these new games to come out later on. But leave a like if you have enjoyed, everyone. Subscribe if you guys are brand new, and without further ado, we'll see everyone next time.